Hey guys, welcome to Every Damn Friday. This week, we've got a wonderful, wonderful, cool guest. Uh, he's from across the pond over in Essex, England. He's a singer-songwriter, but I got introduced to him as an artist. He's a fantastic painter, and we had a really good conversation. His name is Jack Browning. You can check him out on all the interwebs. But I hope you enjoy my little conversation with our English brother, Jack Browning. Thank y'all. All right. What do you say, buddy?
Hey man, good talking to you, man.
All right. So
I
I've
can't
got
believe we
Jack
missed each
Browning
other in
from,
Kentucky.
yeah, I've got Jack Browning from across the pond in England. We're at exactly in England. Are you in London?
So I'm in Essex, so kind of like you with Louisville.
Okay. So close to London.
Kind of yeah, close enough I can get there if I need to, but very rural, very out of the way. It's like a coastal Kentucky here. It's like
Okay.
a
Gotcha.
lot of hills, lots of woods, but we're on the coast, so
Okay. Oh, sounds like a place I should visit for sure.
for
Uh,
sure, man. Yeah, come over. Yeah,
so Jack is, for the people out there watching, um, I ran into Jack because I also do artwork along with playing music, and my algorithm is filled with painters and people like that. And that's what I knew you were first. Like I didn't know you were a musician. I just saw the portraits. So like I was liking and following all that stuff. So
yeah, it happens a lot, man. I just had a like a piece in an auction, and I had the director reach out to me and. She said, "Oh, like it's loved your artwork, and just found out you did music too. So
yeah.
listening now, I'm really enjoying it." I was like, "Oh,
It,
cool."
it weird though. So having done both myself, it's weird how they overlap sometimes. But then it's like
Yeah,
I've got completely different contacts in this direction and some in this direction, and the two never meet. Uh, but it's all,
yeah,
but
it's
it
like
does
having
make
two
this,
heads.
yeah. But it just make this big. Creates this big community, and
Yeah,
sometimes it does overlap, and that's when it's awesome. Um,
yeah, sure, man.
so just kind of give me the background, like, kind of, how did you get into the arts? How old are you, first of all? I'm sorry.
I'm 26.
Okay, so you're a pup. So
Yeah.
I'm turning
I don't
45
feel
this
like
year.
it, but I get told that a lot. Yeah.
Well, that's hey, that's good. That's good. Like I'm way down the road. So yeah, how'd you get started with all this?
Yeah, I mean, I used to sketch a ton, and I didn't really pick up an instrument until I was kind of in my teens. I tried guitar a few times and it didn't stick. Um, and I was always sketching, but didn't take it like crazy serious. Um, and then right around like kind of 13, 14 years old, I picked up guitar properly.
So what were you
Um,
listening to? Like what music were you listening to then?
yeah, so I mean, when I was in my teens, I was like a real kind of blues and kind of blues rock kind of guy. So, it was like Joe Bonamassa right through to like Derek Trucks
All
and
right.
BB King and
Hey, you're top Derek Trucks. It's hard to beat Derek Trucks. That
yeah,
would also
man.
make you want to quit playing guitar.
Yeah, I mean, it very nearly did. There was a few times where I was watching it, I'm like, man, just felt like I had two left hands. So I was listening to that, and kind of music was always kind of around our house, and it was kind of how me and my dad bonded. So I was brought up on Johnny Cash and not too much country, but like he was a huge Johnny Cash fan, and
He's kind of rock and roll anyway. So
yeah, he sort of like bridges that gap, and Dylan. My dad was the is the biggest fan of Bob Dylan, so kind of brought up on that, and then yeah, kind of hit 16, 17, became a bit of like a dad rocker slash metalhead.
there you
Um,
go.
and my first couple bands and stuff were all kind of like Faded Denim and Sticky Floors, like
There
these
you
old
go. So who we
bands.
listen to then?
That was like Thin Lizzy,
Nice.
Guns N' Roses. They're all, I still listen to them all the time.
Oh yeah.
I a new song in the can that's got this solo at the end, and the amount of people messaging me saying like, "Oh man, who did that?" Like on the mix, and I was like, "Oh, it's me." They were like, "Oh, you play that kind of stuff too?" I was like, "Yeah."
So isn't that crazy though? Like, so I'm going to stop you for a second.
Yeah,
So obviously you're a songwriter. So the thing about being a songwriter that I found is like if you're a songwriter, it makes genre becomes a tricky thing
hmm
because the song has to do whatever it does, and and you and but we also like to kind of lump things together and go, okay,
Yeah.
so these all kind of sound countryish, so I'm going to do these. And like I just did a, I mean, I guess it's kind of like a concept album last year, but I like my favorite band of all time is the Foo Fighters.
Oh
I
yeah.
I played country music my whole adult life, uh, and but I that's the music that I love to listen to. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna make a rock record, and
Yeah.
because I had songs that kind of that I could never play before that fell into that vein, and then I just did a record with my kids. They helped me, and it was more like kind of R&B ish, kind of like you said, bluesy, a little bit, a lot more acoustic stuff like that. But it's
Sure.
like I feel like you can't write the same song over and over and over and over again.
It's hard, man. I mean, I remember when I was doing my first record, like I was in the studio and my buddy who played bass, Whizzer, I was like kind of talking to him. I was having a bit of a crisis in the studio. I was thinking, man, like I think it's all so different and too like disparate. And I remember he just turned to me and went, "Brother, you got range." And
Well, yeah,
that's
well,
kind
I
of what
mean,
I tell myself, like, anytime I sort of slip back into that thinking again, I'm just like, well, I should,
it's like Sturgill,
yeah.
where he was like, you know what?
It's all me, it's just me
Yeah,
trying different things and doing different things. So
very cool, very
um,
cool. So, what's the scene like over there? So, obviously, you're close to London. You said, so is that where you play a lot, or is there Essex have lots of stuff there? Like,
no, I mean, so it's kind of weird. Like, I mean, I definitely say I lean more towards like the kind of old and traditional country stuff. Over here it tends to be a lot of kind of pop country, which is cool. But I think there's often like a misunderstanding, like over here they say, "Would you play our country?" And they're like, "Oh, like Morgan Wallen stuff." I'm like, not really. It's more like kind of, John Prine and Waylon and that kind of side of country and
y'all
folk.
have the divisiveness between the two over there that we
Yeah,
have here.
yeah. I mean, there's definitely a little more of a blending because I think people are just stoked to get any kind of country.
Because
But it's
here it's
become,
like, you gotta like you start every conversation with, no, I like this kind of country, not this kind of country. And
yeah. I noticed that when I was in town, like last month when I was in Kentucky, like it's definitely more of like a kind of like a militant line.
oh
Um,
yeah,
and I mean, I think it'll probably get to that point here. I mean,
I don't
there's a
know.
lot of
I mean, I think
country
there's
nights.
good music, right? So there's music
Yeah,
you like and music I like, and
yeah,
sometimes they
100%.
overlap. And
Yeah.
I don't have to like everything you like. You know,
Yeah, and there's a lot of like trendy country stuff happening, so there's like a lot of pop-up nights with like mechanical bulls and, you know, pink cowboy boots and
you
stuff like
are
that.
you are appropriating our culture over there.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, like, and there's like a company that like a few companies that like make like moonshine now here.
Oh.
And
See, look, but the funny thing is that it's all coming back to you because it came from you. So it's like, like my family is, Irish Catholic, and
Mhm.
my dad's family is from originally from England. It's like, so here in Kentucky, and maybe you saw this, but there's a lot of Scotch Irish like
Yeah,
heritage
man.
here. So
Yeah,
like
definitely.
it kind of, the landscape in a lot of places kind of, I've always been told, kind of looks like that area.
Yeah,
And
no, it does, man. And a lot of the like the kind of sentiment of a lot of the people was very like um reminiscent to me of like Irish folks I've met, like the real kind of like salt of the earth Irish folks will
and
kind of
and
give
all
you
the
a shout
beer they
for
drink
that.
too.
And it was the same in Kentucky, it was kind of the same thing. And yeah, like the shine and the whiskey and stuff, which was great. So yeah, I don't know, man. The scene's kind of funny like that, um it's got its good and bad and everything. And
Are you
um
playing quite a bit? I
so
see posts. I see shows posted a lot, but
yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, so I've kind of taken a step back from a lot of live stuff. Last year I was kind of playing live and playing pretty much every show I could. And then I got with an agent for the first time this year, and it's kind of a little more not of a strategy because that makes it sound like we're kind of planning it this way, but kind of
yeah, you're not just playing everything. It's more curated.
sure. Yeah. So, I've got a headline show in London in November, which is kind of meant not really taking on any shows kind of around London. Um, for the last month or so and until November.
That's definitely a
But
strategy, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think
no,
I think
exactly.
yeah, if you go and play if you got to go play a 3 hour show, which means you have to play a bunch of covers, which means people aren't getting to know you because of the songs that you wrote.
Yeah. And I love that. That was a great education, and I still do it now and then. I'll do it for buddies and stuff like that. And yeah, if it's kind of like a hometown show, and I'm doing a couple things around Essex, and kind of around the UK. I'm going to the Netherlands in October for a show. It's like a big festival called Rambling Roots with like the
Oh
White
yeah.
Buffalo,
Oh,
um,
nice.
which would be killer. And yeah, I mean, between you, me, and whoever's watching, we'll
Well, hopefully there'll be a few people watching.
hopefully there'll be a ton. Yeah, we're
Uh,
I'm
I've
from
got
a
one of my good friends has been over playing the Long Road Festival
oh, who's
and
your
was out
friend?
with Southall. Kyle Daniel.
Oh man, yeah, Carl's wicked. Yeah,
No, I'm pretty proud of him. He's a he was when I taught high school, so he was a student when I was student teaching. So I was like
nice,
how to teach, and he was there at like a sophomore and
nice.
wrote for the school paper. And I snuck him into a John Mayer show when he was like 16. So
That's
I'm glad to
badass.
see him over there tearing it up.
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
yeah,
I've got like a Dutch tour next year. That's going to be announced fairly soon, and the UK tour, and then a little birdie tells me I'm going to be back in Kentucky in June.
well, I think I know who you're talking about, and I hope that you are. I
That is
so let's talk.
exactly what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
let's talk about the Kentucky trip.
Yeah, man.
So you just came over here. You were here for what, a few weeks?
Yeah, I was there just under 3 weeks. Yeah,
Okay.
so
So
I'm self-booked.
what was the kind of like the catalyst for that? And
Yeah, so I got hit up by my buddy Jace Turley,
okay, yeah,
um, who's up in Greenup in
yeah,
Kentucky, probably around January, and he said, "Hey man, would you like, what would you charge to come and play a festival in Kentucky?" I was like, "Damn, like you're gonna have to give me a minute.
yeah.
I've
Let's do some
played
math.
the US tour. Yeah, let me do some maths." And kind of didn't really know if it would be possible or not, and then it kind of tapped into my friends over there, and we got a couple shows. So I was like, all right, at least I'll cover the flight, from that kind of thing. Um, and then kind of just ended up planning this like 2.5 week tour, kind of all self-booked and just using buddies. And my friend Phil, he's from near Newcastle up over here, but he's lived in Chicago 13 years. So he he kind of talked about coming and joining us. And I said, well, what would you, you know, charge for it and driving. He goes, dude, I love road tripping. He's like, I'd
Let's
do it
do it.
anyway, so um that was really great. We had him for like a week and a half with Anne and I, and then we had the last week on our own. And yeah, it just I remember when I played the Little Sandy Shakedown, which was like the second show. I think it was like the first weekend.
Okay.
um I said to Jace, I was like, Jace, man, like, how the hell did you find out? He's like, dude, we put up that we were planning the show, and I woke up to like 30 people bugging me. He's like, so I did it to sort of shut them up. I didn't know anything, I didn't really know your music and stuff. And he's like, I listened to it. I was like, oh no, it'd be cool to have him. And you know, he's like, there was quite a while where I didn't know if you'd come all that way. I was like, yeah, there's quite a while where I didn't know if I
Yes.
could come all that way, but it worked out great. And yeah, we ended up doing Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, back to Kentucky, nearly dying in Indiana in one of the severe weather warning storms, and then Ohio to finish. So
Very cool. Well, so you're talking about festivals and events and things like that in Kentucky. I feel like Kentucky, the promoters have done a really good job. So I've got a venue here called the Randall Barn, and I do two shows a year. And depending on when you're going to be over here in June, I do a May show around the Kentucky Derby. Um,
nice one, man. Cool.
but I feel like John Gray said that Laurel you know over there with their festival, and you've got down at Manchester Music Festival, and you've got Master Musicians Festival, and all these promoters are buddies,
Yeah,
and they talk to each other, and they
yeah,
really
it's
curate like
nuts, man.
wonderful,
That's
great
one
music.
that's one thing we don't have here, and like, I'm gonna be candid about it because I've noticed it a lot since coming back. Is that there tends to be a little more kind of gatekeeping this side of the pond, um, and a lot of kind of I think in a way, because I'm 26, like I've noticed a few times where I think there's like a thing of like, merit coming with age for a
Yeah.
lot of folks, which I get, like if you've been doing it for a while, like I understand that. But in Kentucky especially, West Virginia was the same as well. It was just like everyone was doing everything they could to help me out with shows. So
And there's
John,
certainly gatekeeping, if you get to Nashville,
I'm sure, yeah,
and
I'm
there's
sure.
and there's some of that going on. But as far as just like there's so much music here, so I think
Yeah,
we take it for granted. Like I grew up, Bill Monroe's home place is 40 minutes away.
nice.
Everybody I knew growing up played an instrument, knew how to
Yeah.
play bluegrass, knew how to play mandolin,
I mean, I'm doing a thing with Sip and Spin down in Greenville,
okay,
and
yeah, yeah.
uh, just the amount of talent that came out
Good
of
old
Muhlenberg.
Muhlenberg County.
Yeah, it's like the most stacked thing ever. So you scale that up to all of Kentucky, and the amount of music's just insane.
But you kind of take it for granted. You're like everybody knows how to
Yeah,
play, and everybody had little bands, and I'll say this too. Even in a rural place like where I live, the arts, like in our schools, are still very much like an important thing, and are
yeah,
encouraged. Like maybe you can't do that for a living, but you should definitely learn how to do these
yeah.
things.
I think we could learn a lot. What I will say though is over here, like when you do meet good folks, like they really are like heart of gold. And it was the same in Kentucky, but I don't want to give the impression that over here it's all like gatekeeping. There's like maybe 1% of people I've run into where there's been a thing. But in Kentucky, there was no one. I didn't meet anyone that was like, you can't do that. And I
Well,
said there was a lot.
is the industry like? I guess there obviously there are record labels and all those things because of all the but is it they're like English country, and there's people over there that are on the radio, or is it like
Yeah, I mean, I tell you who like really do, or now it's kind of getting a little bigger and stuff. It's not necessarily the case completely now, but like shouldering the burden for the longest time with like these indie radio shows.
yeah?
Um, I mean, just reeling some of them off the top of my head. There's guys like Craig Parry and Mark Dare, and obviously Whispering Bob was doing it for the longest time.
They were kind of
I'm
championing all
gonna
that good
forget a
stuff.
bunch now. Yeah, UK Country Radio. They're all Madeline Christie. They all were kind of spinning it. Just like Chris Smith is another great one, where like for years, like way before country was cool again, like just in their spare room or from a little local studio just playing this stuff in like from America and kind of
Guerrilla,
embracing the
guerrilla
UK.
radio.
Yeah, seriously, man, it was like kind of pirate radio vibes, and they've still carried it through, and obviously they're getting more and more popular, and more and more kind of like native acts to play and stuff. So I'm really pleased for them and very
Which is great
grateful.
because the last thing you want is for them to say we're going to have a country music festival and neglect all of the local stuff that you have. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand bringing in some headliner stuff, but you're definitely trying to grow that there. Um,
yeah, definitely, man. And it's just really encouraging. Like that side of things is really nice, the grassroots stuff. And there's some great labels here too. I mean, one of my favorites is Loose Music. And they kind of take care of a lot of the stuff of, like Cassie Valazza and um, like Dylan LeBlanc and a bunch of other guys and stuff.
yeah.
So
Is that
they're really
something kind
great.
of like that's something you're striving for, something
Oh, I mean, yeah, that would be definitely one of the bucket list labels. Yeah. Yeah, Loose.
you just released
Especially
a single, correct?
Yeah, man. Yeah, just a champagne taste. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I definitely, over here we say champagne taste beer budget. Uh,
Nice. Yeah.
and
Same
I'm definitely
same
living on,
sentiment worldwide.
yeah, I'm definitely living on the lemonade and beer budget.
Oh, me
Um,
too, man.
but
I
it's so
joked
good.
around about the press
I
saying
saw
I
where
need
Ann had
it.
made a lyric video for you, so it's kind of nice to have somebody that kind of know that's in it with you and
Yeah. I,
understands what's
I,
going
I
on.
couldn't ask for a better wingman. Anne is great. She's very understanding. There's been times where I wanted to pack it all in and she was saying like no. And then yeah, she was kind enough to, kind of vlog the whole trip to the US. So we used a lot of that footage in the video and it was really cool looking back on some of that. It's
Well,
really
because at the end of
nice.
the day, if it doesn't take off, you've got all this stuff all these
Yeah,
memories, and you should document it all. Like you should,
yeah.
it because you're going to be my age someday, and you're going to go, man, I went to Kentucky 20 years ago, but I don't really remember anything because I didn't take any
I mean,
pictures.
I brought back. I worked out like just me. I brought back like 7 kilos of souvenirs and
Oh, I
gifts
saw
and
it. Every picture you've had has had a like you've got a La Honda hat on. Uh,
yeah, this is an old one. This is a couple
okay,
years old. This is one of my. But honestly, dude, like people were so generous. The first it was the second gig, and it was again at Little Sandy, and there was a lovely dude. It's really bad. I'm forgetting his name, but I remember he drove all the way down from Pennsylvania to Greenup to come to the show, and he came up to me. It was like everyone was still kind of waking up from the night before. It was like second day of the festival, and he came up and said, "Oh man, like you're a John R. Miller fan, right? You know, I saw online that you're a fan." I was like, "Yeah, like I love his songwriting." And he disappeared and came back from his car with a signed, dedicated copy of John's first record.
really?
I was like, "Man, that is crazy." And then every single gig, I got like some kind of badass,
Take this with
it was
you.
like
Take it back
a
home.
bottle of bourbon or a record or a shirt or
Could
a
you take the
hat
bourbon on the
or
airplane, or did you have to ship it?
well, that was a hassle in itself, man. I got given a couple bottles, and I brought back I managed to bring back two. Um, one of them, it was just the suitcase was overweight, and there was a dude at Nashville Airport that had just had his flight to Raleigh cancelled, and he was fixing on getting a hotel and staying over, and then renting a car and driving home the next day, and I was kind of like looking between him telling this story, looking at this bottle of whiskey that kind of probably shouldn't
Was going to
come back.
go over limit.
I was sort of like, you need this more than me, man. And he went, oh, damn, dude, like really?
There you go.
Yeah, that was kind of a sweet moment. I'm glad it got used by someone that needed it more than me.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of it around here for sure. Um,
Yeah,
so all right, again, I don't want to keep you forever and ever, but
yeah,
let's
that's
talk
okay,
about
man.
your art because like
Sure.
again, like I've always done music and art, and it's always kind of been like these two different worlds. Uh,
Yeah,
but by painting your heroes and painting your it's all and like people who definitely are in your genre, like it's kind of you found an interesting way to kind of tie all that together.
yeah. I mean, I guess the music side of the stuff started properly. I guess 2017. I painted the White Buffalo for the first time. Um, and his management saw it, and I went and handed him the painting in London.
Very cool.
It was 2018, I think. Um, and I didn't think anything else of it. And then, like 18 months later, I got an email saying, "Oh, this is the White Buffaloes manager, um, Mr. W. Buffalo, you know." And yeah, we've got a new record. It's being mixed, but we need some artwork. Your name came up. You know, would you be up for it? And I was sort of thinking, let me think about it.
Yes.
100%. And then did that, and the reaction was crazy. And obviously, COVID took away the ability for him to tour that record, which kind of sucked a little bit. Cause I was like, man, that would have been cool to see it on a shirt and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Um, and um,
For it to win
and
a
then
Grammy and you like
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly, yeah. Oh man, and then yeah, I guess for like 2 or 3 years, I didn't really know what I wanted to paint. I was in college for art, and I was kind of trying to force the Western thing. I was really into painting Western stuff, and then kind of realized I was just going through the motions. I didn't really know what I wanted to capture. And then, like early 2023, I just had this idea. I think it was a picture of Charlie Crockett I saw, and Charlie's one of my favorites. And I was just saying to you before we recorded, like I just caught him in
Yep.
Louisville. It was the one night off I had. It was great. Um, and yeah, just painted that and put it up, and it just kind of, you know, it didn't go crazy, but by my standards, it went crazy. It didn't
Yeah.
set the world alight, but it was like this cool reaction. I had these people saying, "Oh, and discovering kind of I'd put out these crappy like bedroom demos and stuff before, and people started to find my music a little bit, and and said, "Oh, you should paint this guy or this girl, or whatever." And yeah, 18 months later, here I am, and I'm just
I saw
trying to
like
wrap my head, yeah,
I saw
trying to
like a
wrap my head around.
compilation where you'd put like all the different ones that you had and you're selling prints for those and all that. So how many portraits have you done, you think, since you kind of started off with Charlie?
Man, I want to say I'm close to 50.
Wow.
Just of like maybe 40, close to 40. Of just like country singers, you know.
And I what did I see that you met up with Brandon Coleman of Rex Like
Yeah,
Praise?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was badass. Yeah.
So did he buy the one of him that you did?
I actually gifted it to him and
Okay,
his wife
okay.
Macy. They were very, very sweet. And I remember when I put it up and Macy messaged me about it, and that was a few months ago, and they said they'd love a print and stuff, and then
You're
they're
like, just
coming to
take the
London.
real thing. I mean, that's
Yeah,
why
they
you do
come
it
to
anyway,
London.
right?
Yeah, I mean, they came all that way to London. They've both been very, very sweet as well. Like I said, Macy had shared it, and Brandon has shared it a few times. The Strays had shared it as well, and I thought, man, it belongs with them. And no, so they invited me down, and put me and Anne on the list, and I got to meet my buddy Nolan, who was opening.
Oh
So
yeah.
it was really nice, man. It was
Who
crazy,
is
and
also crushing it. And
yeah, I mean,
and,
it's
and even though
nuts.
he's a Cincinnati guy, right?
Yeah.
But he's definitely played the Kentucky scene there for a long time.
Yeah, he lived in Lexington for like the longest time. He's
Okay,
just moved to
okay.
Nashville. So yeah, I mean Nolan's cool, and I painted him too. And for some reason I thought I'd run out of people like around this time last year. I was thinking, man, like, who else do I paint? And it's just opened these like relationships with people where through art and I guess the music kind of that people find through that, I've
It,
I've got to like befriend some of my heroes, which is
well, it's
crazy.
almost like you like if you were trying to open a show for them. If you were trying to make that connection with somebody, that's kind of a pressured or
Yeah.
like, hey, can I get a ticket to a show? But when you're saying, hey, I painted your picture, hope you don't mind, hope you like it, you know,
Yeah, and a lot of the time I won't even make a big fuss about who I paint, but people will tag them in it or send it to them. And I remember I had someone over here say that I was like cashing checks with it, and that was the funniest thing because I was like,
eh,
and it's all like
giving
just
them away.
it's all hard work, and they kind of meant it in the sense I think that it was like I was like trying to get in with certain folks, through painting them. And I mean that couldn't have been
You're
further from
honoring
what
them.
I expected, you know?
Yeah, I mean, how would you ever expect that you painting a picture of somebody thousands of
No.
miles away would mean that you
I,
get to
I
meet them?
painted Ben Todd last year, and now like he's my buddy. It's so
Yeah.
weird to me because he's one of the reasons I started playing this kind of music. And then 12 months after me painting him, I'm in Greenville, and great, he's sat at the front with Ashley and Matt Heckler, and
Yep.
we're like having a cigar, like that. It was crazy, and um, same for us as well. How we connected. It's
Yeah.
just
It,
yeah,
it,
I could never have predicted it.
and
So
it's so wild for me, for these people that I've known for a long time, uh, that somebody across the pond is fans of them. Not that they don't deserve it, but it's like it's a real, that whole like the world is so small and you don't,
yeah,
it
well, I
feels.
remember when Drayton Farley like saw his piece, and I think his mum saw it first on Facebook. Someone tagged her in it, and like that was awesome. So I sent that over, and I think his folks got the painting and he got a print of it, um,
Perfect. I love it.
which was funny and kind of poetic. I guess the parents deserve the original. And yeah, like, and then he was in London in the spring and just said, we got a few days off, if you fancy hanging. And we become buddies through that. But he kind of said the same thing to me. He was like, that was kind of like weird in a good way. I was like,
Like
man,
a
how
total
does this?
mind blow.
Yeah, just, he's like, I'm just a dude from Alabama, and, you know, just singing songs and stuff. And I was like, well, yeah, but,
Well, this is
some
what this is what I think we should do. I think we should do a portrait swap.
that'd be sick,
Right.
man.
So just like decide who you think we should do,
Hmm.
and then I'll send mine to you, and you send yours to me, and we'll
I am
do
so down.
do some
Maybe,
kind of reveal.
maybe folks seeing this can suggest in the comments,
Yeah,
like,
there you go. Perfect. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what we'll
suggest
do.
someone we should both paint. And
That would be
yeah, I'll
awesome.
get original Josh Mitchum. That'd be great, man.
Well,
I'd like that very much.
It would just be fun. It's better than being a pen pal.
Yeah, I've got it with a few. There's a great painter down in Texas, Lucille, and she's again become a buddy just in cyberspace. We've never met, but we had a piece in the same show once. We kept in touch, and we did an art swap a couple months ago, and just waiting to move into our own place again so that I can sort of get these framed. And I got a couple posters and stuff saved and stuff from different people. So yeah, that'd be one more for the collection, man. I'll be excited for that.
Well, I'm gonna find out when this one festival is booked for. Uh, and we always do my ramble in May the 2nd, I think this year, which is if you're in town and you can go to Louisville and watch the Derby or something, that would be a fun.
That'd
But
be
I'll see
great.
how close they
Yeah.
are together and see if it's something that would work out. And I'd love to have you play here
Yeah,
on the farm at the barn,
that'd be a lot of fun, man. I'd enjoy that.
and we could do a studio hang in here. You can show
Yeah,
me
dude, that'd
your
be fun.
technique.
Oh man, you need to show me some of yours as well. I love your like your style, dude.
Well, it's weird how like right now I'm working on. I was telling you I was painting on some stuff. It's we have a huge festival in Louisville called Bourbon and Beyond,
Yeah,
and I have been real lucky over the years to kind of foster a relationship with some bourbon companies, and so I end up doing a lot of commercial stuff for them. Uh,
ass, dude.
but still, it's like they're like do what you want, but it has to have you know
Yeah,
red wax or it has to have this or it has to whatever. Uh,
I'd love to do that kind of thing. I'd love to collaborate with like some of my Western stuff with some of those bourbon guys. Like we did the Buffalo Trace Distillery. We
yes.
accidentally stayed in Frankfurt and had a morning off. So
There you go. It's never too early for bourbon.
no, dude, that's a breakfast, lunch, and dinner drink, you know. And it literally was 5 o'clock back home.
Well, there you go.
So
See,
it was
there you
fine, you
go.
know.
I love it. Well, Jack, thank you so much for taking some time. I know if it were me and it were almost 9 o'clock, my wife would be ready to go to bed and start watching our show. Uh,
No, as said, Anne is so used to this. I think because I was kind of starting this journey like when we got together. We've been together like 6 years, so pretty much since we were both 19. And yeah, I mean, even when I was doing that White Buffalo thing, that was my first experience of conference calling to the US. And they were like, yeah, we'll put you in for a meeting at 5 p.m. I was like, cool. And then sat there thinking, hang on, 5 p.m. LA time. I'm like, oh man, that's midnight. So
yeah, that's rough.
yeah, I'll be sat like that, just like listening
Well,
to suggestions about the
well, I'll
painting.
have some bourbon for you to take care of the jet lag next time you come over here, and
Oh, that sounds like a promise, man. That'd be
we'll
great.
definitely get together and hang out and like again like I said, hopefully you can come play at the barn and we can get that figured out too. I'll give John a shout and see what's going on.
Tap John up. Nice one, man. Sweet.
Jack, thank you so much, buddy. I hope everything blows up. It's probably gonna be a couple weeks before this comes out, but I'll be in touch and
Yeah, man, please do.
we'll get us decide who we're gonna paint and that'll be
Yeah.
fun.
We'll see what people recommend. I'll put it in my story as well. That'd be fun. And we'll see what kind of names people throw down.
Perfect. All right, buddy.
Hopefully it's not Dale Watson, because I'm painting Dale Watson now and tearing my hair out over his tattoos.
Well, I was gonna say Sturgill, but you've already done Sturgill. We need to do somebody you haven't done before.
Well,
Uh,
that's the thing with Sturgill. You could do so many
Different
iterations,
eras.
you
I'm gonna
know?
go watch him. So we got to open for him a long, long time ago, and I'm gonna go watch him at Rupp Arena there in Lexington here in a couple.
Nice.
That's gonna be awesome.
That's gonna be crazy, man. I
Lars in the
really
back.
enjoyed Lexington, man. Lexington was a cool town.
I'm a big Cats fan, so I've spent a lot of time. The Borough is awesome. Like
Yeah,
it's a great scene.
I love American football. I love college ball. And I don't really have a team for college ball. Obviously, I've got no particular allegiance, but I mean, right now I've got a Go Big Blue shirt
There you
upstairs.
go. We're not listen. Like we'll break your heart in football, but
Yeah, no, I gathered that, and the problem is my soccer team here is very much like that too.
like you
So
start the season with high hopes
yeah,
and
I already told John, like, I'm sorry if I don't throw all the way down with
but
with
for
a
basketball, you can get 100% behind us there. So like
different game,
we won't
man.
let you
Yeah,
down there.
yeah.
All right, Jack. Well, hey,
No,
I'm gonna turn you
I wear
loose.
my cat's shirt with pride.
You
So
better. All right, I'm gonna turn you loose, man. I appreciate you so much, and all I wish is more success and in both areas, music and art. And I hope that by the time my little show rolls around, I can't even afford to have you here. So that's the goal. Okay.
Oh man, honestly, I feel very much the same way about you, man. It's been lovely chatting to you.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll talk soon. And everybody at home, go check out Jack's music. You can find him on Instagram, YouTube, all the spots, all the places on the interwebs, and definitely support him. Show that some of that Kentucky love, and we'll make sure that he keeps rising. So, thank you again, buddy.
Thanks, man.